If you found this video, there's a good chance something in your life stopped fitting recently. Not dramatically, not in a way that's easy to explain. Things still function. You still show up. You still know how to do what you do. But something underneath that structure feels thinner than it used to. People usually describe this as feeling lost. That's not quite accurate. What's more accurate is that the identity you've been operating from no longer organizes your experience the way it used to. This can feel subtle at first. You might notice it in moments that don't seem important. A conversation that ends and you feel oddly blank. An achievement that lands without the satisfaction you expected. A familiar desire that no longer pulls you forward. Nothing is wrong with you for noticing this. And nothing is broken. What's happening is that an old internal reference point is dissolving faster than a new one is forming. Most people have never been taught how to recognize this phase, so they try to fix it. They look for clarity, they look for motivation, they look for direction. That instinct makes sense, and it usually makes things more uncomfortable. When an identity loosens, the system doesn't immediately replace it. There's an interval, a quiet span where the old structure no longer commands loyalty, and the next one hasn't organized itself yet. That interval feels empty to people who are used to momentum. It feels threatening to people who build their sense of safety around certainty. It feels boring to people who expect intensity to mark progress. So they rush. They fill the space with plans. They label the feeling. They narrate it to themselves and to others. That narration creates noise, right where listening would help. If you're in this phase, you may notice that advice doesn't land the way it used to. You hear it, you understand it, then it slips off. That isn't resistance, it's misalignment. Advice is designed to stabilize an identity that already exists. You're reorganizing beneath that level. This is also why techniques often feel strangely ineffective here. They still work in principle. They just don't touch the place where the shift is happening. What's reorganizing now isn't a belief. It's the center you orient from. That process isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It often looks like nothing is happening. From the outside, your life may appear unchanged. From the inside, there's a sense of standing without a script. This is the part most people try to skip. They interpret the lack of internal instruction as a failure. They assume they missed a step. They assume they're behind. They're not. This phase shows up when a person has already extracted what they can from an identity. There's no charge left in it, no gravity. So the system releases it. The release doesn't come with immediate replacement because replacement requires honesty. Not moral honesty, structural honesty. The kind that asks, what no longer organizes me, even if it once did? What am I no longer willing to pretend matters? What am I tired of defending? Those questions don't demand answers. They reveal constraints. If you sit with this phase, instead of filling it, you may notice something else. Your tolerance for noise drops. Your interest in performance fades. You become less willing to explain yourself. That isn't withdrawal, it's recalibration. You're no longer oriented around being legible to everyone. This often scares people because their previous identity was reinforced by recognition, by feedback, by usefulness. When that reinforcement disappears, there can be a sense of falling inward. That fall isn't downward, it's inward and quieter. Nothing about this phase requires urgency. Urgency tends to come from identities trying to survive past their usefulness. If you're here, forcing clarity will usually backfire. So will forcing movement. What helps instead is learning to recognize what no longer has authority. Pay attention to what no longer motivates you, even when you try to make it. Notice what you stop chasing without effort. Notice where your body doesn't tense the way it used to. Those are signals of reorganization. This phase doesn't last forever. It lasts as long as it needs to. People who tolerate it tend to emerge with a center that's harder to destabilize. Not because they know more, because they're no longer pretending alignment. People who rush it often rebuild something familiar and call it progress. If you're watching this and feeling a quiet recognition, that's enough. There's nothing you need to do with it. My name's Nemo, and I help people like you access past lives and contact their higher self in 3 hours or less. That work exists for people who are already in contact with something deeper than their current identity can explain. Not as a solution, as a context. If this video doesn't land, that's fine. It wasn't meant to. If it does, you don't need to act on it. Just notice what happens when you stop trying to replace what's already leaving. That interval is not a mistake. It's a passage. And passages are meant to be walked through, not optimized. Take your time.